He is the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 4,000 yards for 3 different teams, including the Arizona Cardinals, whose 2015 season will be chronicled starting tomorrow, streaming on Amazon in an 8 one-hour episode documentary called All or Nothing, where cameras were following around the Arizona Cardinals all last year. He is Carson Palmer. How are you, Carson?
Rich, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. So that was kept a secret. Nobody knew that was going on last year. So cameras were everywhere, every single game, every meeting, Carson?
Just about, yeah. We, I've been a part of Hard Knocks before,
sure,
years ago, and you get used to them. But they're only there for training camp. When they're there for their entire season, after a while, they're just part of the room like a lamp is or a table, and you just get used to it. And at the time, as the season was going on, we had no idea that this was what it was going to become. I don't even know if Michael Bidwell knew where this was headed. It's kind of like finding gold. You realize you have something special after a little while, and it's turned into a phenomenal show. I think our fans are going to love it. I think NFL fans everywhere will love it because it's such a different perspective on an NFL season. It's not just training camp. It's really hardly any training camp. It's an entire season. So, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what it was being used for or potentially going to be used for, but it turned out to be something really special.
Yeah, well, you can turn a lamp off, though, Carson, right? You can move a piece of furniture. Was there any point in time that you were just concerned about anything?
Never.
Not at all.
No, I mean they're there at every practice. They're in meetings. I think they were, they're in meetings, but it's not like there's a cameraman in there. They're just these cameras attached to the wall,
mm-hmm.
and obviously have microphones on them and all that. But after a while, you're so focused on whether it's a meeting or a practice or whatever it may be that you just don't even realize it's what's going on.
So who's going to be the star of this that we don't already know about? Who's going to be the new star made from your team, Carson?
Well, I've only seen one episode.
Okay.
But, David Johnson, one of our tailbacks, who had a great second half after we lost Chris Johnson to an injury, really was all over the episode I saw. So I would say him.
We're hearing from your coach Arians and from other people. They're throwing around some pretty big names who David Johnson reminds them of. Franco Harris being one of them. Carson, you heard about that? About David Johnson?
I mean, I get why. After seeing the way he works and the rookie year he had, he's a special back. He's big. He can run between the tackles. He can bounce it outside and run past people. But what he does for us that's so good and why he's so special within our system is he's a great receiving back. He catches the ball extremely well. He runs really, really good routes. And he's a mismatch for a lot of guys. So he's had a lot of success so far, and we expect him to have even more.
Carson Palmer, Cardinals quarterback, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. When you have a moment alone, when you're just thinking about last season, what do you think about?
A lot. A lot of excitement, a lot of fun. We won a lot of games and didn't get to the Super Bowl and didn't end up getting a ring a couple of months ago like the Broncos did. So I can't wait to get going again. I think we're going to be a better team. We lost a handful of guys. We replaced them with some youth and some speed. But for the most part, a majority of our team is back, and we've gotten better through the draft and retaining guys in free agency. So I'm excited about where we're headed and getting past that NFC Championship game and getting into the Super Bowl and making a run at it.
Yeah, that divisional game was unbelievable. That was the game of the year as far as I'm concerned in terms of just looking back and the intensity of it and what you guys did and then what Aaron Rodgers did to tie the game and then the coin flop, as I'd like to call it, leading to the pass that you made to Larry Fitzgerald. What was that like when you were watching Fitz run down the field and then you flipped him that shovel pass for the win?
Oh, it was awesome, obviously. But you're right. I mean, that game was full of so many different ups and downs and momentum swings and emotion changes. And then like you called it, the belly flop, the coin tip.
Oh my gosh.
It was just an odd game. It was kind of one of those eerie games. you think you got them put away, and then they throw a Hail Mary from their own 2-yard line and get back to midfield, and then they throw another Hail Mary to tie the game up when you think the game's over, and then we go into overtime, and which rarely happens, is we go right down the field and score a touchdown without them even getting a chance to touch the ball. It was an odd game. It's really cool on the show, on the All or Nothing show. That's the one episode I saw, was the episode that covers that divisional round, and you get a really cool perspective from Bruce Arians' wife to the GM and the head coach to the owner to our fans, and there's cameras all over the stadium, and you get such a different perspective from so many different angles that it's really cool for our fans to see, for NFL fans to see, and for me to have experienced as a player.
Who do I hear in the background there, Carson? Who do you got right there?
Little Carter. He's filling up a diaper, so it's about time for me to go hand him off to my wife.
Attaboy.
And
but now you're just doing that because you're on the phone with me, right? I mean, you're all in when it comes to parenting, right, Carson?
I'm all in, but I've had like the last 5 or 6 number 2 diapers, so it's her turn, and I'm going to hand it off like I had no idea, and I'm pretty good at that, actually. I'm a vet.
Attaboy, there you go. Carson Palmer but just don't play action fake on the handoff, Carson, okay?
No, I'll secure the ball and make sure she gets it.
5 points of pressure on that child as Carson Palmer's handing it off. I like it. So when you look back on the season, there was a game in Philadelphia, December 20th. You won at 40-17, but you banged your hand on a helmet, and Tyrann Mathieu blew out his knee. And I'm just wondering, do you look at that game and think that if you had come through clean and Tyrann had come through clean, you might have a ring on your hand, Carson?
I try not to look at seasons or games like that, but I just remember that feeling on the sideline when I saw Ty go down, and I know that feeling that he was going through. I know the mental pain of knowing your season's over, and just I think we won the NFC West title that day, and it was so bittersweet because we all realized that we lost Ty. And I remember being mad at Sam Bradford for throwing the ball. I was mad at the Philly turf because it looked like that might have hurt Ty's knee, but which none of it's true. It happened because it happened. But I remember that feeling of knowing that, man, we lost him right when this thing's about to get interesting and right when we really need him. So it was a bittersweet moment to win the NFC West, secure home field, and all those things, but to lose such a great player was a tough one to swallow.
But what about you? It appeared that you really weren't the same, that the season you were having, the stellar season, all-time season you were having, hit a road bump because of you banging your hand on a helmet, Carson.
No, those things happen. In no way did that play any part in anything. You get bumped up, you get bumped around, you get knocked around, you get beat up. That's part of the game, and in no way did that have any effect on my play or anything. So, that was no big deal.
All right, let's talk here and now, and then a little bit about the future. Andrew Luck cashing in, cha-ching. What do you think about the amount of money he's making at the quarterback position?
Man, it's a good time to be a young QB. There's no doubt about that. But just so happy for Andrew. What a great player. He has a chance to be one of the best to ever play the game. He's got the skill set and the tools to do that. He plays for a great organization who knows how to handle a great quarterback. So he's in a great spot, and couldn't be happier for him.
And in terms of, he's a former Pac-10 guy. I guess it wasn't Pac-12 when he was there.
Pac-12,
you were definitely Pac-10 when you were there. You are now going to be playing football in the Coliseum once a year, Carson. You're going back in to the Los Angeles Coliseum when you go visit the Rams. Did you ever think you'd play a game there again?
Never. And I'm so excited. Frosty Rucker, another SC guy on our team, and I talk about it all the time. We get to play there on New Year's Day, which is cool. And Rich, you've been there. It's one of the greatest venues. There's so much tradition. There's been Olympics. There's been Super Bowls. And now, SC's had amazing players come through there, and the teams SC has played in that stadium. And now, to get to go back and kind of relive from a different perspective, from a visiting perspective, but still, I can't wait for that game.
Yeah, and you got Matt Barkley on your team right now. Who would be the better Palmer to coach him up, you or your brother Jordan, who's the QB guru?
Definitely Jordan. I haven't put on my coaching hat yet. Jordan's had it off for a couple of years, and he's had a ton of success, and he's working with me right now this summer. So I know from a first-hand experience he's a really, really good quarterback coach, and I've worked with him a number of times so far, and he definitely wins that one.
And who do you think, when it's week 1, Sunday Night Football, NBC, who do you think comes off the bench for the opponent to start the game, Brady or Garoppolo? Who do you think you're going to face week 1?
Man, I mean, it should be Garoppolo, but the way this thing keeps changing, I'm sure Brady will find a way to get back in there.
Is that a lawyer thing, or is it just the luck of the Patriot thing? What do you think, Carson? What is that all about?
I don't know. I mean, it's like, who knows? I don't even follow it anymore. At the end of the day, we got to go out and play good football, and whoever they have playing for them is who they got.
Well, enjoy being a dad. Is probably the last 4 weeks you get to just focus expressly on that, I imagine. So enjoy that.
I will.
You got it. Thanks for calling in, Carson. Appreciate it. We look forward to seeing All or Nothing on Amazon starting on Friday.
Thanks, Rich. Good to catch up, man.
Yeah, same here. You bet. That's Carson Palmer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.